Hey Crew 45 team, I am really excited to have another special message just for you guys and something to be thinking about as you're going into this coming weekend. First of all, I want to tell you guys again, I'm so proud of you. I think, this is something brand new we're doing with everybody in fourth and fifth grade that signed up. And from the beginning, I have very few things I've had to address with you guys. You've all had great attitudes. You're bringing your shirts. You're showing up early. And if we do have to correct something, you're quick to respond to that. Just really excited for what you guys are doing and your attitude and coming early and setting an example for the other kids in Kid Zone. So I am noticing things that you guys do, and I'm really proud of you. So keep it up. One of the things I want to challenge you with for this weekend is from John chapter 1, verse 41 and 42. And the whole idea here is we're going to talk about how we can bring our friends closer to God. So really cool, simple verse. This is in the book of John, right when Jesus has started picking his 12 disciples. Does anybody know all 12 disciples? I know some of you guys do. You probably know the song. If you want to sing the song, that's what I always have to do to help me remember them all. I'm not going to do it now, but one of the disciples was Andrew. So Andrew was one of the first ones who started to follow Jesus. And the Bible tells us right after he started to follow Jesus, one of the first things he did was he went home and he got his brother. His brother's name was Simon Peter. And so he took Peter and he said, Peter, you've got to come and meet Jesus. He is the one, is the Son of God. He's the one we've been waiting for. You have to come and meet him. And he took his brother and physically brought him to Jesus. And then, is Simon Peter one of the disciples? Yeah, so he became one of the most famous ones he started following because his brother brought him to Jesus. And so this is what I want you guys to be thinking about, because you have the ability to do this every weekend in Kid Zone by taking your friends by the hand and showing them how to get closer to God. So 3 things that I want you to think about how you can do this weekend and in the weeks to come. Number 1 is during worship. So when we have worship time, and you guys have been awesome, you've been up front, you're worshiping, you're singing, you're raising up your hands and showing other kids how to worship God. That's huge. I want you to keep your eyes open. If you see anyone sitting in their seats, maybe they're just kind of slumped down, maybe they're looking at the ceiling, maybe they're on their phone or a video game or something. If you see that, I want you to take initiative as a leader and go and talk to them and say, hey man, do you want to come up and worship with me? I'd love to have you come up beside me as my friend. And this can be a little bit scary to sometimes talk to someone we don't know real well, but when you guys go out and just invite somebody to come with you, they're going to be excited that someone their age is asking them. So in fact, Mr. Keith, who helps in one of our services on Sunday, he actually told me he noticed some of you guys doing this a few weeks ago, and he said this was so cool because some of these kids stayed in their seats, but when another Crew 45 kid came and asked him to come up front, he right away went up to worship. So that's one way you guys can lead by example, just by asking and saying, hey, I'd love for you to come up and worship with me. And if they say, no, I don't want to, that's okay. Maybe that's another way to find out. Maybe they're having a bad day. Like, are you okay? Is everything cool? And if they tell you something, you can always just be a friend and encourage them. And if they don't, all right, then you just go back and you keep worshiping God. But look for ways that you can encourage people this weekend and ways that you can invite them to come up to worship with you. The next thing is looking out for new kids. So I think this was last week or the week before, Shusha did an awesome job with this. So we had a little kindergartner girl that came for the first time, and Shusha was her buddy. Shusha right away took her under her wing, started playing games with her, stayed with her during the large group time. I saw her talking with her, telling her what was going on, getting to know her. This might seem like a really small thing, but being kind to someone who's there for the first time in Kid Zone is huge, okay? And you don't know, some of these kids may have never been to church before. Maybe they don't know what to expect. Maybe they're a little nervous, or they don't know anybody yet. So you going out of your way to go up to someone and say, hey, my name is Shusha, and can I show you around? Do you want to play a game with me? You guys can do that. You have the ability to do that. Sometimes that will be your job, and we'll say, okay, I want you to be a buddy for this child today. So be excited for that, because you being a friend to someone is another way to bring them closer to God just by being kind to them, which is awesome. And the third thing I want to challenge you guys with is the egg hunt. Okay, so this is coming up April 8th and 9th, and we're encouraging everybody to invite as many people as possible. Now, what I want to see is in Crew 45, you guys are leading the way because you're the oldest kids in Kid Zone, and you already have a lot of friends in your school or in the church. I want you to really think about, who can I invite that maybe has never been to church, or who is a friend I know that doesn't believe in God, and invite them to come. So maybe this is something you've never done before, or maybe you have, and this is someone new you're asking. But I want to specifically challenge you guys to invite someone to come to church. They're going to hear about Jesus. They're going to hear about God. They're going to have a ton of fun. Maybe they'll win the Nintendo Switch, which would be super sweet. So you guys have all seen these cards that we have that we're handing out. So this weekend, when you guys come to Kid Zone, I want you to tell me at least one person by name that you're planning to invite. So tell me the person of that you're going to invite to the egg hunt, and make sure you tell your small group leader too, because we want to hold you accountable to this and give you cards. And if you have questions about how to invite somebody, we can definitely talk about that. But you guys are going to be awesome at this. So this is another way that you can bring your friends closer to God and set a good example for them. So you doing these things, it might be stepping out of what you're used to doing, but it's going to make a huge difference, not only in the people you're talking to in their lives, but also in your life, because it's pushing you to grow a little bit more. So again, those 3 ways we can bring people closer to God is through worship. We're inviting people to come up front and worship with us. Through being kind to the new kids, showing them around, showing them the love of God. And number 3, by inviting our friends to come out to the egg hunt. And remember to specifically have at least one person's name that you're going to tell me this weekend when we do Crew 45. So you guys are awesome. I'm going to see you this weekend. Remember your t-shirts. Remember to come 10 minutes before service. Proud of you guys, and I will see you this weekend.